Everybody, Chicago Goonie here, bringing another Arsenal talk. On this Arsenal talk, I'll be covering the Swansea game. Well, you can kiss second place goodbye unless Man City slips up somehow, which is probably not going to happen. Um, what a fucking disaster. I mean, it just was. I mean, if this game doesn't show that, uh, Aaron Ramsey doesn't belong on the right side, then I don't know what to tell you. In the beginning of the season, it was all tactics. It was team selection and the tactics. Playing players out of position, most notably playing Mesut Ozil on the left side, which he should never be playing as a winger. And, you know, we dropped points throughout the first half of the season. For the first like 3 months of the season, we just dropped points, because our tactics were all wrong. Arsene Wenger and his tactics and, the formation. It wasn't until we went back to the 4-2-3-1 and, we finally started scoring goals and we started playing the Arsenal way, I guess you can say. Finally, that wasn't until about late November, early December when we finally went back to our strongest formation. Coming into the end of the season, we're in the 4-2-3-1, but again, we're playing players out of position. You have Santi Cazorla at the CM spot. You have Aaron Ramsey playing at the the right wing spot, and it just doesn't work. Santi Cazorla, another bad game from him. Another game where, what did he actually do on the pitch? To be honest with you, I mean, what did he actually do for 90 plus minutes? He had a great December, January, February, March, but over the last probably 5 games, maybe even 6, he's just been a different player. He just doesn't, he doesn't have that same attack in his game anymore. I don't know. Maybe he's tired. Like, I stressed this in a couple of my other last episodes where, maybe he's tired. Maybe he needs to be sat down for a week or so or a game, just to give him a breather. He is getting older. He played a lot of games, a lot of minutes through that stretch when Mesut Ozil was out, where he went back to his natural position, which is number 10. And, ever since then, ever April and now going into May, he just hasn't been playing well at all. Aaron Ramsey, again, playing on that right side is just, last week against Hull City, he had a goal and an assist. But, he can score a hat trick, and I still would say, do not put him on the right side. He's wasted on that right side because he doesn't know how to play the position, for one. Number two, he is so deadly at that CM spot. The way he plays a CM spot is, he could be one of the best in the world, but we are derailing him from being that. Because why? Because we're putting him on a different position that he doesn't belong on playing. It annoys the living shit out of me. Today, again, he must have a license to roam wherever the fuck he wants on the pitch for whatever reason, instead of playing the position. If you want one player to roam around other than Mesut Ozil, wouldn't you want your best player in Alexis Sanchez to be that player to roam around and have that license to roam? No, but it's Aaron Ramsey, who doesn't know how to play the position, who gave us zero width. You look at Alexis Sanchez, the way he played, whether he was on the left wing or the right wing, he played mostly on the left wing today. And he tried to give us that width. He tried to, press up against, the sidelines, to where Aaron Ramsey was just all over the place. And he gave us no width. And again, never tracked back. If you're not going to track back, you might as well put Theo Walcott on the pitch to give us that extra pace, because we had zero fucking pace out there today. And that's what killed us too. Zero fucking pace. The only person that had any pace on the pitch for Arsenal was Alexis Sanchez. You could say Hector Bellerin, but Hector Bellerin and Monreal had horrible games attacking wise. Horrible games. They did not at all cross into the box. Monreal had one cross in the box and he skyballed it out of bounds. Hector Bellerin had maybe one or two crosses at most, and that was it. You have a striker who's 6'3", 6'4", but yet you are not putting any crosses into the box, who is pretty decent in the air. But you're not putting any crosses into the box. I mean, usually after a loss, I can calm down and say, okay, it's a loss. We're all grown-ups here. You probably take like maybe an hour, maybe two to kind of, roll around like a little baby and cry about it and stuff. But after this loss, I mean, I'm still pissed. I'm still pissed about it because it should have never happened. This is 2 straight games now at home. We haven't scored a goal. Once against Chelsea and then now Swansea. You knew, seeing the team sheet coming out, the starting 11 for Swansea, they were in a false fucking 9 with Sigurdsson as their false 9 striker. So you knew that they were going to park all 11 all 11 players the entire game. They had no aspirations whatsoever to score today at all until Gomez came into the game. And once you saw him sitting there on the sidelines ready to come in, oh shit, they're going to try to go for a goal. Because of what happened too? Fucking Arsene Wenger and oh my god, his substitutions are fucking awful. They've been awful for several years now. Taking Coughlin off again for the 3rd straight game. He took him off in Chelsea, he took him off in Reading. I don't get it. Once you take that guy off, the back line goes to shit. All of a sudden it's the back line of old, to where they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. They have no leadership. They just kind of like do whatever they want. They have no coverage. The fullbacks have zero coverage because Aaron Ramsey and Santi are pushing so far forward that the back line becomes vulnerable. And of course, what happens? The worst nightmare happened. They got caught on a little bit of a break. Of course, Aaron Ramsey is so pushed far forward. Santi Cazorla is pushed so far forward. It was only the back line. And that was it. They let a cross come into the box. Koscielny falls asleep. Monreal falls asleep. A header. A weak-ass header. And the game is lost. I mean, it was just... to go back to the substitutions... they it's just a fucking joke, to be honest with you. They take Coughlin off for Jack Wilshere. Okay, Santi Cazorla should have been taken off. I don't give a shit what your name is on the back of the jersey. If you're not playing well, he should be off the pitch. If Aaron Ramsey's not playing well, he should be taken off the pitch. If Mesut Ozil's not playing well, he should be taken off the pitch. Sanchez, everybody should be taken off the pitch if they're not playing well. Because the tempo of the game was a joke. I mean, yeah, we had 68% possession the entire game. We dominated them possession-wise, but it didn't mean shit at the end of the day. It didn't mean shit. So he takes Coughlin off, puts Jack on, which the game was screaming for Jack and Theo. Even at the beginning of the game, when you saw that team sheet, they should have been into the game regardless. And then of course, about like 4 or 5 minutes later, we don't have a goal yet. But what does Arsene Wenger do? He takes our second leading goal scorer off of the pitch for Theo Walcott. We need a goal, okay? But then you take our second leading goal scorer off the pitch. And then, of course, what fucking happens after they take him off the pitch? all of a sudden you're seeing Monreal, Jack Wilshere, Hector Bellerin, um, Alexis Sanchez. Everybody starts throwing crosses into the fucking into the box. What the fuck is Theo Walcott going to do at 5'9"? What is Alexis Sanchez going to do at 5'7"? What the hell is Jack Wilshere going to do at, what is he, like 5'6", 5'7"? The tallest guy on the pitch was Aaron Ramsey and basically Mesut Ozil. I mean, in injury time, all of a sudden you saw Per Mertesacker come jetting up into the box. I mean, what a fucking joke. This loss is on Arsene Wenger and the players. I mean, there was no sense of urgency. I don't give a shit how big the possession stats were. That meant nothing because they didn't create anything. No one created anything. Mesut Ozil had a couple, he had three over-the-top balls. One was perfect to Alexis Sanchez. Another one was perfect as well, but Giroud was just way too lazy of getting back on side. And then I think the third one was to Aaron Ramsey, which he was too slow to get to. That was basically some of the only chances that we really had throughout the game. There was another chance, which was our best chance. Aaron Ramsey threw a cross into the box. Alexis Sanchez, I think, was surprised that it even got to him. Came right off his chest, had an opportunity, put it in on goal. Fabianski saved it. He basically parried it back out. The shot was so hard it parried back out to Theo Walcott, who was just standing there by himself. No one was around him. And what does Theo do? Hits it right back to Fabianski, like he was still on Arsenal or something, like he was still trying to make a play to save the defense or something. You know, when you're Theo Walcott and you're asking for a new contract or you're asking even for more money, you have to put that ball away. You have to finish that. When you have maybe one or two opportunities a game, you have to finish that, period. Why players... Fabianski's gonna throw himself to the floor and try to dive at it. He's not the tallest person in the world, okay? He has a little bit of a hops, but at the same time, he's not the tallest person in the world. Why the fuck would you even do another line drive shot right at him? Because Alexis Sanchez already did that and failed. But you do it again instead of putting it over his head, instead of putting some type of air under it. Because if you put even a little bit of air under it, it would have went right over Fabianski. But he didn't. No shots whatsoever today. I'm looking at the stats here, and I think the stats got to be fucking wrong. We had 23 total shots and 9 on goal. I don't know, other than the two that I just talked about with Alexis Sanchez and Theo Walcott. I don't know where the other 7 came from, to be honest with you. I can't fucking remember them. And honestly, if we did have 9 shots on goal, they were all safe for Fabianski. He wasn't challenged once. We had 2 shots outside the box today, and both of them came from Giroud. One was blocked, and another one went barely wide. But other than that, no one challenged Fabianski today at all. The sense of urgency from the start of the game. Arsene Wenger, he came out after the game and basically said, I don't understand why we lost that game. Here's a quote from him. The players were very disappointed. They put the effort and the desire in to win it tonight, but we had a lapse in concentration. What planet is he on? Just because we pass it side to side a fucking million times, we deserve to win? You deserve to win when you play, an all-out attack. They had just because we had possession today doesn't mean it's an all-out attack. It doesn't mean we came out with any sense of urgency. It doesn't mean that we came out wanting to win that game, because honestly, from the first second to the final whistle, it never looked like we wanted to win that game. There was a few times where we were kind of like knocking on the door that we looked like we were going to score, but it just didn't happen. And like I said, we even had one more substitution to go, and it wasn't even made. Who was the one player, maybe other than Jack on the bench, who could come in and would just be full of energy and could be and just energize all the players on the pitch? Thomas Rosicky. He was just sitting there on the bench. Every time he comes into the game, he fills the pitch up with energy. Why not put him on the pitch? I honestly think that Wenger just completely forgot that he had another substitution. Why not take Bellerin off or Monreal off? Just make it a back three and go all out attack. But again, we didn't do that. Again, we're just trying too hard to make that perfect goal every fucking time. The players want to be on highlight reels or something. I don't get it. Ugly goals count the same. You have to keep on challenging the goalkeeper from the first second to the last whistle. And we just don't do that. Arsenal is the one club that refuses to shoot. And when we did try to shoot today, we try to shoot when there's like 3 players in front of us. Take a shot from outside. I'm shocked that, Alexis Sanchez didn't try to do it several times. Why Mesut Ozil? Why shouldn't he shoot from outside the box? The only person who was trying to do that was, like I said, Giroud. But then for some odd fucking reason, he gets taken off. Fucking joke. You need a goal, but you take off our second leading goal scorer. What he should have did was take Santi off, or Ramsey, one of the two, keep Coughlin on, go to a 4-4-2. Because, I've been saying this all throughout the fucking season. When you play a team that parks the fucking bus, you need as many players inside the box as possible. There was at times where Theo was the only player inside the fucking box. There was plenty of times where Giroud was the only person inside the box. How do you fucking think you can win like that? The on-fly tactics are just not there. Once we fail at our normal style, there is no backup plan. There is no change of formation. You have to change the formation up. You have to put 2 strikers up on top, because then that separates the center halves. Ashley Williams and I forgot who the other guy's name is from Swansea. 2 guys were on Giroud at all times. 2 guys were on Theo Walcott on all times. And honestly, bringing Theo in as a striker is a fucking joke, because he's only 5'9". And on top of that, they were parking a bus so you could never get him on the counterattack, because they had no aspirations whatsoever to score today. They were either going to settle for a 0-0 draw, or let's just play this game out and let's not get killed. Let's just keep it as a 1-0 or 2-0 loss. That's what the starting 11 for Swansea said. Look at the stats. What did they have? 32% possession. They had no aspirations of scoring today. Not until Gomez came into the game, because Monk saw once Coughlin came off, we were exposed. We were going to be exposed, because he saw how far Aaron Ramsey was pushing forward and Santi Cazorla was pushing forward. So the middle of the park was wide open. Mertesacker is too fucking slow. Koscielny, sometimes checks out once in a while. Monreal's pushing forward. Bellerin's pushing forward. All of a sudden, we're exposed. The center halves are exposed once again. You would think after Monaco that would never happen again. Same thing happened in Monaco too. Coughlin was taken off. All of a sudden, the back line went to shit. He took him off on Reading. It almost went to shit too on there. Chelsea, same thing. What goes through Arsene Wenger's mind when he's watching this fucking game? and he has the perfect bird's eye view of everything. The team sheet was wrong. I mean, again, Ramsey on the right side just doesn't work. I want to see him at CM position. Fuck Sandy. I don't give a shit. It's about winning because we just lost second place. And if no one's paying attention, when it comes to Champions League, they're doing everything different now. As far as seeding, where you place inside, where you place in your league now. There's more emphasis on where you place now than it ever has. And we just lost second place. Because I seriously doubt that City's going to slip up for these next two games. And they basically have to lose a game for us to take second place back. And we basically have to win out. The only good thing about it is basically we have third place wrapped up. We can lose this weekend coming up against Manchester United and still get third. We just have to beat, of course, Sunderland and West Brom the last two games. And, of course, they're at home. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. I pray to God that Danny Welbeck is healthy and ready to go, so he can be playing against Manchester United. Hopefully, I mean, of course, these quotes, by Arsene Wenger after the game that we deserved to win and we showed the effort. No, we didn't. How can you say that? We couldn't even score a fucking goal, and we put forth the effort. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, if this game doesn't, I mean, if this isn't a poster saying, a movie poster that says Aaron Ramsey doesn't belong on the right side, I don't know what is. He could be a world-class CM, but we'd rather play Santi there. I'm getting sick of some of these. Well, we have to make players happy. Fuck it. It's about winning. If a player is going to have a hissy fit and go cry to his mommy because he's not playing, show more effort. Show that you deserve to be there, because none of these players, I mean, you would think too, these players would be going balls out right now because we actually still have something to play for. Other than, I was watching the game yesterday of, Man City and QPR, and Phil Neville made a point right in the beginning of the game of saying, we don't know what kind of Man City team we're going to see because they really have nothing to play for, and they have Champions League secure, and so they don't really have anything to play for, so they might switch off for this game. But of course they didn't. They won fucking 6-0 because QPR was just god awful. But at the same time, you got to think, are these players just switching off? We have something to play for. These players have to think in their head. They want to be on the pitch. They want to be part of the starting 11 when they play in the FA Cup final. Because unlike everybody else, we have something to play for still. And it just doesn't seem these players have that in their head. Not today. Definitely not today. It seemed like that like last week against Hull City, after the disappointment against Chelsea, that they wanted to get back up, and start winning again instead of just drawing. Maybe it was just too much pressure. If someone makes the excuse of it's just too much pressure because they were on a 10-game unbeaten streak, I mean, that's bullshit. If Swansea came out with their normal starting 11 and they actually wanted to win the game from the get-go, then that would be maybe an excuse. But there is no excuse for this. When a team just says, I mean, they threw up the white flag even before the fucking game even started. Just don't kill us, please. We surrender. We'll just park everybody, behind the halfway line. And just try not to kill us today. Some of the other players, I mean everybody just, Everybody was kind of like a joke. I saw a tweet which was, I mean, an idiot tweet. Um, I'm not going to even talk about that. I mean, it's just, I mean, this is how much it just pisses me off um, from this game. I mean, to play this coming in late in the season, I mean, it's unexcusable. It really is to play this poorly um, when we still have something to play for. I mean, kind of thank God that we have a game in hand. Um, because if we didn't, I mean, we might be looking at third or even fourth place again if we didn't have a game in hand. If we didn't have to play Sunderland the Wednesday after this Sunday game coming up against Manchester United, and then we have West Brom at home. Our last two games are at home. Thank God we have those two games. Thank God we have a game in hand because, who knows? Maybe the players are thinking that too. I mean, I just don't. I mean, here's another quote that just kind of makes me fucking laugh by Arsene Wenger. We were unlucky against a team who defended. It was a question of being patient. I'm encouraged by our quality in the second half. Uh, what? I mean, how much more patience did we need in that game from when we were just passing from side to side, side to side? That's all we were doing. On occasion, Mesut Ozil would throw it into the box. Aaron Ramsey would throw it into the box. Um, Santi would throw it into the box. But there just wasn't enough of that. And again, it comes down to shooting too. It comes down to challenging someone, challenging a goalkeeper. We just didn't do that. Period. Couldn't finish. When you have that type of finish, whether it's Alexis Sanchez or Theo Walcott, you have to put it away. It's just, we can't win the league like this. You can't. When you lose at home to a team like that, who just parks the bus for 90 plus minutes, how can you really expect to win the league like that? This game shows we need more help. That we need more players to be coming in. We need more world-class players to be coming in. Because there was flashes between Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez today. To where they were where Alexis Sanchez was trying to make diagonal runs. You saw it on that long ball, where his touch was okay. It could have been a little bit better to give him an opportunity to score. But after that long ball, I mean, where was the help? Where was everybody else? So you saw flashes between some world-class players of what they were trying to do during the game to try to get us over to the hump and try to get us that goal that we desperately needed, because that's all the game needed was for us to score, and then it would have been like the Hull City game. Hull City was parking the bus. All we needed was that one goal, and all of a sudden it opened up. All of a sudden we could really play our game. All of a sudden we could catch them on a counter, and we could create better chances for us. But we just couldn't get that. We just couldn't get that first goal. No matter, I mean, I was going to say no matter what we did, but we didn't do enough of it. Um, because there's, it's the job of the manager. If a player's not playing well, sit him, sub him off. Santi should have never stayed on the pitch for as long as he did. Aaron Ramsey should have been moved back over to the CM spot. Theo should have been on the right side, or Jack. I would have put Theo on because we needed pace. When you only have one player on the entire pitch that has any pace, it's kind of like a joke. I know you could say Hector Bellerin, but what was he doing? I mean, for the first 70 minutes of the game, what was he actually doing? I don't really know. He wasn't getting any crosses into the box. Um, he wasn't trying to make any moves to make any crosses into the box. I just don't. I don't get it. I really don't. And of course, throughout most of the game, Arsene Wenger's just sitting on his chair, watching and trying to, again, no leadership on the pitch. Again, for something like this, how many times did Mertesacker yell at somebody to, get their ass in gear? How many times did you see anybody yell at anybody? I mean, there was nothing. You shouldn't be having losses like this late in the season, like this. Unless it's, if you're a bottom half team, sure. But, we could have been sitting in the number 2 position at the end of the season, which would have been progress. I saw a tweet from one person I follow on Twitter saying there's not much difference between second and third. Obviously, he's not paying attention to what the Champions League is going to be next season and for the seasons, ongoing. From this point forward, it's going to matter where we finish in the top 4. If we continuously finish 3rd or 4th in the league, there's going to be a possibility that we might slide into that 3rd or 4th tier, and we'll be in we'll be in group of deaths from this point forward almost. And what happens if we don't get out of group stage? We go right to the fucking Europa League. Who the fuck wants that? Honestly. For the players to say they're disappointed after the game, after the loss, well, where was any urgency during that game? But like I said, we can't win the league like this. There's no way we can win the league like this at all. Because you need to play 90 minutes every fucking game. You need a sense of urgency every fucking game. If you want to win the big trophies, you want to win the league, you want to win Champions League, Monaco, perfect example. It was the same fucking thing today. And it just shows we need more help. We need more world-class players to come into Arsenal. One thing I hate about being an Arsenal fan is sometimes we're too biased on our own players, and we keep on thinking potential. Oh, they're going to finally show their potential. They're going to finally become a world-class player, and it just doesn't happen. Aaron Ramsey is case in point. He can't be a world-class player because he's fucking out of position. So I think this summer, I wasn't going to, maybe I'll do something, maybe I'll wait till the end of the season. I wanted to wait till the end of the season to talk about transfers and the crazy season, but it's pretty obvious that we need another world-class winger to go along with Alexis Sanchez. We definitely need it. Because the Ox, he can't stay healthy. Last year it was a knee and a hamstring. This year it was a hamstring and now it's a groin pull. He's out for the rest of the season. He's not coming back. Danny Welbeck has a little bit of a knee injury. He had a little bit of a hamstring injury early in the season just because he was playing so much. Why Theo's not playing on the right side in a game like this when they know they're going to be parking the bus is beyond me. I don't know if he's being punished because of his agent, because of the contract talks. Because I can just go round and round of how Ramsey does not belong on the fucking right side. Because he doesn't track back at all either. Bellerin was fine defensively today. Same with Monreal, other than the goal that they gave up. That was more on Koscielny than it was on Monreal. But again, at the end of the first half, Ramsey was sitting in the center circle by himself, and Swansea was on the attack. But Ramsey's sitting there in the center circle, just standing there. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? If you don't know how to play the position, he shouldn't be out there. And if he's not going to track back, I'd rather have Theo Walcott out there because he gives us that pace and that ability to get behind. Aaron Ramsey doesn't do that because he's too fucking slow. I mean, even Jack Wilshere is faster than Aaron Ramsey. I mean, I can just go on and on about this because it just pisses me off of the team selection. This is going on for too long, but obviously we need more help. We need another world class winner to come in. Possibly if there's a striker, which I highly doubt. Um, Maybe I'll do one this week. Maybe I'll wait to the end of the season because I'm just so pissed off right now. I'll maybe make a list of players that might be launch shots, maybe not. If Marco Royce is available, I mean, throw if we have 70 million pounds to fucking spend, throw it all on that guy. I don't give a fuck. If Gareth Bale comes available, fucking throw 90 million pounds at Real Madrid. We'll take him. Because today should never happen. We should never have a midfielder, a center midfielder, playing as a winger ever, ever. But this has gone on long enough, bitched long enough. Um, yeah, that'll be it later.